Hello, strangers. Don't you just love this time of year? The Christmas season. Cold, festive cheer. Well, I don't. Anyway, you're here for this week's creepy, terrifying tale, aren't you? Well, Tom is back. Gobble Gobble. Part 2. And this tale is called Turkey, anyone? A woman sits watching scary stories on her TV from YouTube. She's looking through the videos, and she comes across a Goth telling creepy, terrifying tales. It's Christmas Eve. Her house is decorated in red and green. Stockings hang over the fireplace, and a large pine tree carved in tinsel. She looks over at the tree with the flashing lights on the tree, and she thinks about her kids that are coming to visit. Her plans were to have both her children home for Christmas time, as they were both in their 20s, and the last one moved out last year. Then she heard something. Hello, strangers. Woman was just staring at her TV. It was like the woman who was telling the tales was talking right at her, talking directly at her. It was a weird story called Gobble Gobble, and the woman laughs hearing the title's name, but there was something in the tone of the voice of the YouTuber that had her almost hypnotized. The woman sits there and listens to the story unfold, laughing at all the turkey sounds, wondering why the turkey had grey skin. She was wondering what might happen, and was very surprised about the way it ended. She slams down her remote. What happened to that turkey, Tom? There's no way he could have gotten away. It was getting cold and dark outside, so she went to go get some firewood to start a fire. She gets up, pulling off her blanket, and walks over to the back door. But as she walks towards the back door, she can see something. She walks closer, and as she looks through the glass of her back door, she can see a dark shadow figure. The shadow didn't look like a bush or a tree from her back garden. The shadow looked like a man with an odd-shaped head. She looked down, blinking her eyes. She rubs them and then takes another look. But there was nothing there. She slowly unlocks the door and walks outside and takes 4 logs from a pile leaning against the wall outside. Gobble gobble! She's startled and looks out around the garden. She looks around again and sees nothing. But that doesn't stop her from running inside and locking the door behind her. She goes and puts the logs down on the fireplace and walks over to the window in the front room, window that's facing the back garden, and looks out. She did not see a thing out there. She just closes the curtains and shrugs. She gets her fire started and gets herself all comfy again, gets herself all comfortable in her chair with her blanket as the flames bring heat into the room. She just gets comfy again and then picks up the remote control. But she was still feeling slightly shook. She just kept on thinking about that figure outside. Who was it? She was just really thankful her children were going to come and visit her so she wouldn't be alone. Hattie, her daughter, aged 24, and Harry, aged 22, meant to be over this evening about 10 o'clock, and she was going to be driving over. Ping! It was her phone. She looked down at the bright lit screen. It was a message from Hattie. The message read, "I'm just packing the car and then I'll be on my way." Gobble gobble! It sounded louder. It was Outside the front room window, she crept over to the window and moved the curtains, and there, before her eyes, was the most disgusting thing she had ever seen behind glass. She saw yellow, stained trousers and a yellow stained top with yellow lumps looking like pus and green lumps looking delightful, disgusting. It looked like dried up sick and mucus. She looked up higher to see his face, but it wasn't a face. All there was a grey-skinned turkey. Turkey's body. Was this Turkey Tom from that YouTube channel, from that YouTube story? But before she could react, he smashed his way through the window with his turkey head. She runs out to the kitchen, but leaves her phone on the chair. She doesn't know what to do. She cries out, "Stop! I will call the police!" The strange man with the turkey head walks at full speed over to the kitchen drawer. He opens it, and his fingers wiggle inside. A very large turkey baser. He grabs her head and shoves it hard up her nose. She's breathing deeply now, blood running from her face. She kept on watching him as he went back into the drawer and pulled out a cleaver. Then we go back to Hattie. The time is 9 o'clock. She's getting closer to home for Christmas. It's cold and it's starting to snow. She pulls over to get some gas. She tries to ring her mum. There's no answer, and that's not like her at all. Hattie pays the cashier and walks back to her car in the dark. She's got a bad feeling and she keeps checking her phone. Then she gets back to the road. As she's waiting in a queue of traffic, she checks her phone again. There's still no answer, no messages, nothing. Then she pulls over to her mum's house. Still, a bad feeling washes over her again. Hattie takes out her house keys, the keys that she was given when she was 16 years old by her mum. She unlocks the door and pushes it open very slowly. But then she hears a sound. Gobble, gobble. This startles Hattie, but she walks in still, slowly walking into the kitchen. There was something cooking in the oven. But then Hattie realizes there is a trail of dark, fresh blood dribbled across the flooring. Hattie started to shout, "Mom! Mom! Mom, where are you?" There was no answer. Gobble, gobble! That sound again. Hattie slowly looks across the room. The blood trail led straight into the front room. She followed the trail to in front of the Christmas tree. A big puddle of blood under the tree. All the presents in blood. She follows the blood up the tree until she gets to the top and sees her mother's severed head on the top of the tree with a turkey baser hanging from her nose. Hattie's face turned white as she screamed with fear, sadness, and upset. Gobble, gobble! She looked over to where the sound came from and sees a man climbing out the smashed window. But his head was a turkey. Hattie panics and gets her phone out of her pocket. She runs to her car until the police turn up. Hattie sits in her car, quiet, in a state of shock. The police bang on the car door. You rang for the police? Can you tell us what happened here? Hattie looks up at them, tears running down her face. My mum. There was an intruder. I saw him leave out our window. Please, can you describe the man you saw leaving the house? He had a turkey for his head. The police both look at each other and burst out laughing. Hattie started to cry. No, you must believe me. He really did. As the police started their investigation at the scene, they opened the oven. But it was no normal Christmas food that was cooking. Oh no, it was Hattie's mother's body that was roasting in the oven. The police searched the whole house, but there was no sign of Turkey Tom anywhere. Oh well, poor Hattie. Imagine seeing your mother die like that. I will leave the story here, so maybe we can have a part 3. So if you freaks do want a part 3, don't forget to subscribe, as you know I write these for you. Yes, for you. So at least you can do is just push a button and subscribe now. And you do know I love to scare you so much now, don't you? Have a bad day, and I'll see you next week for another creepy, terrifying tale. Goodbye.